Ladies and gentlemen and other friends, welcome to I Don't Get It, the pop culture Get Off My Lawn cast, the podcast that features the open-minded musings of two of your favorites early 50s curmudgeons as we bravely, boldly stare down the prospect. It's not really the prospect anymore, the reality.
Yeah, the certainty.
The metaphysical certainty of our entertainment irrelevance. I am 50% of your hosting team. My name is Noah Tarnow. I'm the founder and the senior quizmaster of the Big Quiz Thing, the trivia game show Spectacular. Talking to you from the Bay Area, California, San Francisco, the Golden State, and joined by very far away via the magic of the interwebs in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, my co-host, who is
I'm at least 51% of the effort of this podcast.
And I also can't that's actually true, yes.
I can't do math very well. Yes, my name is Bill Scurry. I'm the founder and proprietor of America Caesar Enterprises, which is the sexy shirtless man sitting behind you, guiding your hands over spinning clay pottery while Unchained Melody plays.
Do you know that song went to number one again because of Ghost?
Yeah. I mean,
I think it went to one. It was definitely a hit again.
I kind of forget. We forget. Was it? I think that was 90, 89, 90? I forget.
I think it was 91.
But we forget that we were living like...
It was 90. It was 90 because it was right after I moved to Canada. I remember watching the Oscars and Whoopi Goldberg.
We were living in Ghost's world, and it's kind of amazing. First of all, Ghost was directed by Jerry Zucker, who was one of the airplane guys, which is very strange.
World? Oh, the world of the movie.
The world of Ghost.
I was thinking the movie Ghost World.
No.
From like 10 years later.
Not only it crushed. Like to think about Ghost being the number one movie at the box office that year. Like it was the number one earner.
I mean, it had something for everyone at the time. It was romantic.
Yeah.
It was somewhat scary.
It had a supernatural component to it.
Yeah,
I
mean, I loved it. I thought it was a great movie.
I mean, it's definitely the kind of movie.
It was funny. Whoopi Goldberg's hilarious in that.
And she got an Oscar for it, too.
She got an Oscar.
That's the other thing. It's like the weird... Try to like square that with what movies look like today and the kind of movies that A, get made and B, win awards.
You don't think a movie like Ghost couldn't be a hit on Netflix? I think it could.
Netflix is where you send good movies to die. Netflix is, nothing. No, Netflix, every now and then something actually works. But for the most part, there's a lot of stuff on Netflix that you don't know came out. It's almost, Netflix is the worst place to put a good movie. They just want content to keep you subscribed, but they don't do a thing to push a movie that actually works. And I know that there are some good things I've seen off of Netflix that I found because other people recommended them. But I also know that there's a lot of stuff I will never find simply because it's too much acreage. It's just a jungle that you need to machete through to get to anything.
That's show business now.
Not only that, but their algorithm it doesn't at all measure into what you like and give you accurate results of what you also may want to see based off it, because they're just too busy saying that, you want to see Wednesday. And it's like, no, I don't want to see Wednesday. You want me to watch Wednesday. I just want to fucking watch Wednesday.
I don't know. I tend to think it recommends things that if I don't want to see, at least logically follow from things I have watched.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I mean, it seems to be working for me. It's not always what I want, but I feel like it makes sense that they think I might want that.
Yeah, I mean, their algo
I'm an unpredictable guy, Bill.
Their algo is still trying to get... It's like, I watched K-pop Demon Hunters already. It's like, we watched it already. We've seen it, and it's like,
a lot of people like to see things more than once, especially animated.
That's why it's like their biggest tab is continue watching. It's like, dude, I fucking watched this already. Now, I'm not going to continue to watch because I didn't like it.
So angry about it.
I'm furious. I'm crimson with rage over this.
So mad about this.
It's terrible.
Did you watch Barry, the show Barry?
I watched 3 seasons until I sort of got tuned out. Okay. I just felt like it was running in circles, and
because toward the end, they really make fun of Netflix and how the algorithm and basically the people who run the fake Netflix they're like, I don't know, the algorithm made the decision. Like, we have no control over that.
Yeah,
we made the decision to hide your show and bury it. Like, nothing that we can do about it. Like, this is the president of Netflix saying that.
Yeah, that's pretty much what their situation is. It's ridiculous.
Anyway, thank you, Bill, for that long introduction.
Overlong, yes, discursively.
Well, but now and it leads us to other things and whatever. So what's this show about? Well, often we talk about Netflix, but not today. We're getting old and we try to keep up with what's going on, and we talk about things in the news and things young people are into. And we're back on a topic, a category that did not exist when we were young men. Influencers. the role of the influencer, the concept of the influencer, the internet influencer.
What's the closest thing we would have had, say, 1987 to an influencer?
I mean, those people who just went on talk shows and like you weren't sure what they were famous for.
I would almost be inclined to say Bob Keeshan or somebody like that. I can't imagine. Like, who were you influenced by, George Burns.
It's a different meaning of influence, man.
That's true.
By the way, those of you who don't know, Bob Keeshan was Captain Kangaroo.
Yes.
It's a different meaning of I mean, you could say, what, the Velvet Underground? Like, who were the most influential people in the arts? Influential to the people who were popular at the arts at the time.
Bob Hope used to get on the regular NBC.
Bob Hope was an influencer, yes.
Bob Hope would get an hour or 90 minutes of airtime once or twice a year from NBC to do a variety show.
Yeah.
When they did,
and I watched that in high school because there was nothing else on.
That's true. There was nothing else on. Him and
And
Michael.
he was looking really bad by then. He clearly would say these jokes where he had no idea what he was talking about.
I remember there was a sketch, not to continue this, but Bob Hope and Michael Crawford, the guy who played the Phantom of the Opera on Broadway, were making fun of rap music by having them rap the news, and they were wearing like big Zubaz pants. And I'm like, we've crossed through the looking glass. You can't continue whatever this is anymore.
But you got to understand, your grandparents probably thought that was a real hoot.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
I guess someone like Bob Hope would be an influencer because someone who, like, yeah, you can point to what he's famous for, but like, he's more famous for who you don't think of any specific character. You think of Bob Hope.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And especially at the point where he was by the time that we were cognizant, where he was just like part of the entertainment firmament and he could show up on Johnny Carson even if he didn't have a particular project, Yeah, we're in a very different world now. I mean, influencers are far more likely to be young, and this is a big case. We're talking about an influencer who's much talked about in the past year or so. God, I kept stumbling over new news stories, different controversies.
It's amazing, isn't it?
He's indeed young. He goes by the name Clavicular or Clav. His real name is Braden Peters. He's 20 years old. He was born in 2005. I saw that and I'm like, what kind of name is Braden? And out of curiosity, I looked up the name Braden on there's a social security website where it's really fun. You can look up names and see like how popular a name is over time and when it was most popular and how many people were born last year with the name Braden or whatever. So Braden is as of last year, it's no longer one of the top 1,000 most popular boy baby names, but its peak, the most Bradens ever born in 1 year was 3,000 in the United States, 3,046 births when it ranked 133 in 2005.
There you go.
When Clavicular was born. So he is one of the 3,046 Bradens born in the United States.
Bulwark of Bradens.
Right. So Braden Peters, he's like me, folks. He was born in New Jersey. He was born in Hoboken, New Jersey.
He's just like you.
Just like me. Not far from where I lived. And he went to Seton Hall Prep, a high school in West Orange. I lived in South Orange. I knew people, and Seton Hall itself, the actual university, is in South Orange. And so I knew people who went to, Seton Hall Prep. Of course, I was born 30 years before this guy. Now, Braden Peters first became well-known online last year. According to him, his little origin story, during the COVID pandemic, during the lockdown, he's 14 years old, and he began injecting himself with testosterone supplements while stuck at home.
I guess he bought them from Mexico or Canadian pharmacies?
I believe China. He ordered online on China. His parents didn't notice. He would skip out on his online class. Man, online classes were a big mistake. I mean, whatever. We were doing the best we could, right? I get it. It was a mistake to take kids out of school, but come on. We didn't know what we were dealing with. They made a stupid choice. No, they did the best they could. And hopefully next time we make better choices. So last year he became well known on TikTok and Kick. Kick, we haven't talked much about Kick. Kick is the Twitch with fewer rules, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of trouble going down on River City, all right. There's a lot of trouble in Kick, that's for sure.
A lot of bad people there, yeah. And his content is associated with a term I've been hearing for a few years now. So he didn't coin this term, but the term is looksmaxxing, which in and of itself could have been a topic for our show, and I believe we talked about that. Looksmaxxing is the process by which young men, I believe it's exclusively young men, men under 30, no women, or no girls, go to extreme measures to improve their appearance and are very performative with it, streaming the process. So Clavicular has emerged as the avatar of looksmaxxing. He does things called facial bone mashing, where he literally takes a hammer to the bones in his face, thinking so they'll grow back looking better. He takes anabolic steroids. He claims he's already sterile because of the steroids he's taken. He's used crystal meth as an appetite suppressant. He's a gym rat. I mean, the guy is built, and clavicular refers to the clavicle, which he thinks the shape of the clavicle is very important to male appearance. I only read this once, so I have trouble believing it because I only read it in a GQ article. I feel like if this were true, I would have read it more places. He does something called dick ups, where he places weights on his penis, which he thinks maximizes its girth and erection strength.
I could assure you that does not work.
Right. Well, all of these things, there's no evidence any of this works. Clavicular has no scientific or aesthetic credibility as someone who actually understands this stuff. But as we are in the world of the internet and social media and influencers, he has attained that status nonetheless. He makes $100,000 a month from his Kick live streams. Other terms associated with a mogging. Mogging, I guess, means one-upping. So like if you're better looking than another guy, you're mogging him. He uses the term ascent a lot. He's ascending to a higher level. His form of looksmaxxing, which is more extreme, he calls hard maxing. For $50 a month, you can buy his clavicular system, where he gives you advice and tips and, I don't know, maybe discounts and stuff. Again, I don't know what this guy's credibility is. And he's in the news a lot because he is putting aside the controversy of this concept, he's not the best behaved young man I've ever encountered in my life. There's a great article in GQ by Kieran Press Reynolds. Here's a quote from him. Over the last few months, he's been called everything from the greatest performance artist alive to a mentally ill meth addict, and compared to a picaresque novel protagonist who, quote, bounces from one thing to another without suffering any real consequences or learning anything from the experience. Last November, he live streamed himself injecting his then 17-year-old girlfriend with fat-dissolving peptides to reshape her jaw. He also, I believe, was arrested for inciting a physical fight between two girls. Another stream, he injected a female influencer with Aqualix, a fat-dissolving liquid. YouTube permanently terminated his accounts just a couple months ago for violating their terms of service. He also live streamed himself driving a Cybertruck in Miami last December. A guy jumped on the hood of a car. The guy he claims was stalking him. If you watch the video, clearly the guy jumped on the hood of the car. So the guy put himself in a place of danger. But Clavicular ran him over. And the guy survived, but in the video you see the woman in the car with him say, "Is he dead?" And Clavicular, with no emotion on his face, says, "I hope so." Apparently he was kicked off Kick for some reason. He overdosed on a drug on a live stream while in a bar in Miami, a club. He has gained attention for being interviewed by he claims he's apolitical, but he's palled around with Nick Fuentes and
the Tate brothers.
The Tate brothers, yes, some really awful people. He's dipped his toe into politics. He says J.D. Vance can't be president because he's, quote, subhuman. How are you fat and expected to lead a country, he asks, putting aside the body mass index of our current president. Although he can't lead a country, so there you go. He says he likes Gavin Newsom better, even though he describes Newsom as a degenerate liar, but at least he's handsome. He is now a legitimate model. He appeared on the runway at the recent New York Fashion Week. He's also, there's a clip of him talking about Sydney Sweeney. He says she's not pretty. She's malformed with an extremely recessed upper maxilla and eyes of doom with no infraorbital supports. He also a video of him shooting a dead alligator with another influencer named Cuban Tarzan. And he was arrested for firing a gun illegally. He took a plea deal. He also did a broadcast where he shared footage of his own nose surgery, which was performed by a celebrity plastic surgeon named Dr. Miami. I don't think that's his real name. And just announced last week the Ascension Summit. He's doing an in-person event in Miami, June 28th and 29th. A way to grow your personal brand and become, quote, unignorable on social media. $297. You could pay extra. They don't even say how much. You have to apply for the VIP experience where you get to hang out on a yacht with Clavicular. I got to tell you, Bill, that website, which I know you looked at, was very conceited, but it's well written. I was looking for bad writing. Whoever wrote that website can write. I will give them that.
I wish they hadn't turned my application down for the VIP crew. That's the worst problem I had with that.
The joke, of course, is that Clavicular says he's not really interested in sex. He says sex is a waste of time. I mean, theoretically, it's to gain, to get women, but he really doesn't seem interested in women. Also, he claims he's on the autism spectrum, although he hasn't been diagnosed. So he, quote unquote, blames a lot of his behavior on autism. I mean, he's definitely odd. So there's a lot to chew on here. Bill, through your exploration, what did you think of the phenomenon of Clavicular?
Oh, how do you begin to talk about
it's really, I mean, it's something, yeah.
Look, man, this Putz is just one of the vanguard of Gen Alpha influencers who somehow command attention of an audience. And, that's, before we went online, you said something about being glad we were born in the 70s and not having to deal with stuff like this. And it's like, It's a different language comprehension. The ciphers are different. And I mean, I think that this is as much entertainment as it is self-help. Maybe more entertainment than it is self-help. But
it's really more entertainment than self-help, but I think people view it the other way, right?
I don't know about that. I think that
they sell this Clavicular Summit as like, this isn't entertainment, this is improvement for your brand.
Of course they do, but I think that people like these phenomena are essentially a lot smaller. What looks huge online, what looks like it has a huge shadow, is when you actually put something in a ballroom somewhere in a Miami hotel. It then all of a sudden the 14 people show up kind of show like, oh, this is the actual scope of this sort of
I don't
thing.
know, man.
14 people, I'm taking the number out of my ass when I say that. But.
I think, look, I am curious because it seems like they announced it very close to the date. Mm-hmm. Like, that, I think, indicates some incompetence. But I will not be surprised if hundreds of morons show up to this and pay the money.
Oh, well, the idea of looksmaxxing is, a hobby and an avocation. It's bizarre to us all. The thing isn't, young guys like Clavicular appeal, they take it seriously, or he takes it seriously, and some of these other guys do without a shred of irony. And that's what's difficult, is to see, maybe, look, irony's been dead for a while. I mean, we were so steeped in irony when we were kids. That's why it was hard to take anything seriously, because we were just told everything was a piss take. They were selling eggs on television using ironic ads. It was like, it was so, the language of irony was so co-opted from the 1990s onward that it's like everything had to be rebellion. Everything had to be sort of. But
now it's more. Now we have fucking politicians trying to own the libs. I mean,
yeah, right.
It's not just entertainment. It's that aesthetic has taken over the world, much to our chagrin.
Maybe the larger point here is that the utter vacancy of irony leads to an empty chase of views, at the expense of your liver and endocrine system. And I'm not sure that everybody who watches his kick stream is going to go out and buy cheaply made, shoddy Chinese peptides. Peptides, by the way, that's another topic. There was a New Yorker article, I think, from a couple of weeks ago about, it's like unregulated. It's all weird. And
there are ads for it all over the public transit here in San Francisco.
Yeah,
and it's tempting because like, are you tired? Do you need more energy? Peptides. Look, if you're hauling your ass to work at 9 a.m, it's like, fuck yeah, I'm tired.
Our lizard-faced director of health and whatever it is, RFK Jr. is a gigantic fan of peptides, and there's this whole counter sort of pseudoscience thing where like that's the final way to kind of like hack your body. I think, GLP-1 is a peptide. Like they're actually being proven to have some efficacy, but it's like that was actually, that was tested. That was actually given drug trials, and it works for a reason. So the thing is, it's like if Peter's diet of testosterone and other drugs, attests to the fact that he's kind of sacrificing his flesh on the altar of this belief system. And I fully believe he is doing this stuff. I mean, some of this stuff really sounds like tall tales. However, he quite literally had a nose job on camera, and he's getting lambasted for it afterwards. People are, like he's doing it for the clicks. I mean, the whole point of getting his body altered was to have a better nose so that he can continue to be an online feature in terms of cameras and stuff like that. And it's like, then he's getting, people came with their knives out saying that he got a feminine nose put on, like what he did to his nose marred it rather than improved it. And so he can't win. Like, oh, when you're on top of the pile, people are going to keep taking shots at you. That's exactly what this is. So it's like, if you told me that this pursuit was about trying to get women, to sort of be sexy, I would be inclined to believe you. But like you said, he appears sexless.
I mean, he always has a girlfriend.
Well, that's the weird thing.
But like, she's probably just arm candy and
who knows? It's like, if he's being honest about the fact that he's got no sex drive because he's just boiled his gonads in as much testosterone as he could possibly,
But guys like Andrew Tate say amazing things. They say like any guy with a girlfriend is gay.
Yes.
And I mean, I literally think these guys are just like afraid of women.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Andrew Tate's stuffing Estonian women to the trunk of his fucking McLaren and driving them across the border somewhere. And
disgusting.
It's like,
these people, I want to believe in hell when I hear about guys like Andrew Tate.
So that it's like, again, that the weird part of this, it's like, well, you're not trying to get laid, like everyone, you get your nose job done on camera and everybody's taking shots at you and you're in the company of sexless men. Or the ones who aren't like rapists and sex traffickers. And it's like, where does this all lead to? What do you get out of this?
You say he's doing it for clicks, and that's true. But my take on Clavicular, from what I can gather, is that it's deeper than that. This is really sad. This makes me sad, profoundly sad. And I look at a guy like Clavicular, and I look at anyone who goes to this Clavicular summit and the fact that there's an industry for him to make $100,000 a month on an app I've never even thought about going to. And I see the results of a poor mental health system. I see untreated mental illness. I'm serious. I'm not a diagnostician. I haven't diagnosed this guy, but this is my impression. I see the results of untreated loneliness and toxic social media.
Absent parenting, man. Absent parenting.
Well, absent parenting, but it's more than absent. Plenty of non-absent parents aren't getting the job done these days because they're up against some really tough challenges. The male loneliness epidemic. All right. There are people like, oh, men have nothing to complain about. Absolutely not. The male loneliness epidemic is a big, big problem. We have made changes in this culture and I'm getting more into why now, but this is what dominates my thoughts on this. We have made radical changes in this culture, many of them very good. I'm not saying we should go back, but we have not adequately considered or dealt with the side effects of it. And a lot of that is young men are being given, they're told what not to do. They're not told what to do. They are told what to do by bad actors. Your Andrew Tates, your Nick Fuenteses, your Claviculars. And that is, we're desperate. I mean, you remember when you're young, you're desperate for show me how to be a man. And it feels like no one else is speaking to them. I'm horrified by Clavicular. Not so much that he's a bad person, although I pretty much believe he is, but that he represents the utter failure of modern culture to serve the needs of young men. Our culture has looking back on my childhood, it failed me in that regard, right? I still struggle mightily with masculinity, and my struggles with masculinity are the root of my lifetime depression and my lifetime anxiety. There's a great article in Playboy by a writer named John Paul Brammer, and the headline's terrific. Clavicular, the radical submissive. And I'm going to quote it at length here, so bear with me. Masculinity has always sought itself at the extremes. Old world masculinity told men to venture forth into uncharted lands, to conquer the world. First came the frontier, then came the markets. What remains to young men today? The digital image. For these men, looksmaxxing offers the dream of control, a promise that the world and women will bend around you if only you make your jawline sharp enough. While some of it is a delusion, looksmaxxing has become so popular because it articulates a very basic, statistically proven truth. Hot people have easier lives. But once you get hot, does the growing feeling of inner emptiness ever really go away? But it's homosocial intensity without the prospect of fucking. It's the aesthetic of the possibility of fucking, the image of its potential. Clavicular is only interested in the image of men, in the image of himself, beside an image of a man, in the image of himself triumphing over another image. An image is, after all, a democratic thing available to anyone with eyes.
Clavicular is a guy who's maybe the most prominent face of what's called the looksmaxxing community, which is in some ways sort of like a division of incels. These are guys who have decided, that women, everything's against them. They kind of hate women. And the only answer to get women and to sort of get ahead in society is to turn themselves into sort of like sexy Squidward types with just these kind of like very handsome, kind of very somewhat bizarre faces.
Now, tell me, why is this popular?
Young men are desperate for something, and in our world of heightened need for status and physical status and surface level attributes. And by the way, Clavicular's, I thought going into this, I'd look at Clavicular and say, I don't think he's handsome, because generally, I think models are fake looking. And this whole like women who think it's sexy to have a blank face and wear too much makeup, I just find that a real turnoff. I think attractive people are natural, but I do think Clavicular is a good-looking dude. And by the way, if you go to his Instagram or whatever, he is smiling in a lot of his photos. And he has a nice smile. So for what that's worth, whatever it's done, he is an attractive man. Again, I'm going to quote John Paul Bremer in Playboy. Clavicular has been so successful because he's honest about what he wants at a time when AI seems to be threatening the American way of life. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a quote from Miles Shore. It's from the Playboy article. Miles Shore, another model from New York Fashion Week recently, who's known online as Pariah the Doll. And Shore continues. So by the way, let me warn you, I don't agree with the end of this quote, but I'm going to read it anyway. People have been saying we live in a culture of narcissism since the 1970s. Now it's becoming 1,000 times more extreme than anyone ever imagined. It's so interesting because, like, why? I think it's because the only chance at upward mobility as a normal white guy in America is to be extremely beautiful and an online troll. Okay, I don't agree with that last part, but I think that's definitely the most obvious way forward of guys in that position. And I also think that it is easy to believe when you're a guy like that the other ways forward have been closed off to you because they are more closed than they used to be as a way to balance the scales for, non-white, land-holding heterosexual men, the traditional power class of America, right? And this does go back to the 70s. I mean, it goes back to, what was Mad Men about, right? I think, and I said this before, boys, all children need examples. Young people need examples. And we are giving boys more what not to do and not enough of what to do. Boys need examples, and our world is shallow, competitive. Traditional roles have changed without regard for the downsides of change. Dating and, just human interaction have been perverted by, social media and the internet. The only people speaking to these boys loudly are the hate mongers and the con artists. And what do you expect these young guys to do? And the last thing I'll say of why it's popular is whatever Clavicular is doing and why he's doing it, he's mastered the algorithm. I mean, apparently there are a lot of Claviculars out there. Why is this guy at the top of the heap? Because, he's good at his job.
He's the most clavicular of them all.
Yeah.
This is arguably the most difficult section of this show this week to make notes about. I mean, I hear what you're saying and you make good points. The thing is, it's like... how does what he does to his body, how does he make that appealing to people? It's a train wreck. It's more than a train wreck, but of course it's at least a train wreck. I guess there's something aspirational about the damage being done. People find laudable, which means, whether or not they watch, you could be watching ironically on Kick or whatever feature you're doing. And it's like, you could hate watch the guy, you could just sort of have morbid curiosity, or you could be an adherent of this sort of school of thought. And they don't, so the click is coming through without irony. They don't really count in what mode you're watching. The better your abs are, the straighter your nose, the more proportioned the clavicles are. The whole thing about his namesake. Apparently you're approaching some golden mean. I mean, it's this wound up being really difficult to adjudge why people want to look at this, because I couldn't find any good reasons. I mean, obviously there's a phenomenon of a lot of people putting eyes on it, but it's just so alien to my experience that
But you don't think my reason is a good reason? I mean, not good,
it's
beneficial, but good meaning logical. I think it makes total sense.
I guess so, but it's like it kind of like asks me to invest in a world where there aren't somehow nutritive elements for men. And I know that Scott Galloway's whole thing, we keep mentioning his, his kind of like self-help cult a little bit, is that, he's talking about trying to extend a hand to young men and the fortunes of young men. And it's like, all right, I get that. Everybody, like if you think that young men aren't doing well, wait till I tell you about how young women are doing, who suicide rates are crazy. And,
no, but it's apples and oranges in my mind.
I mean,
I'm not going to deny that, but what I do deny is that men don't need help. I think they need a lot of help.
Well, sure, they need a lot of help. I mean, but the thing is, I feel like there's a lot of help out there, and what we decide to do. Well, I think that there are better people than Clavicular who are just as available.
But they're not getting the attention.
And that's the weird thing about it too. Trying to figure out why is it that the people who are more benign than Clavicular, who have something to say, aren't getting attention in Clavicular.
Look what our politics is about.
When you wake up every single morning and you take a look in the mirror, you're 100% satisfied with every single thing. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, dude. All right. Well, I guess that's just, if you want to be completely disingenuous, that's fine with me. I guess there's just no point to continue.
If you were a young man now, do you think you would engage with Clavicular? Do you think you'd watch it ironically? Do you think you'd be a fan of Clavicular? Would you be, booking? That's the thing. This thing's in Miami in like a week and a half, in like 7 days from today. I'm like, who's going? I mean, I hope not a lot, but would you, if you were young now, would you be enticed by the world of the Clavicular system?
Well, I think not. And funny, you said something up top that was really kind of prescient, or at least a good overhanging rubric for this whole thing. I mean, part of it is because this sort of tyranny of beautiful men over ghoulish-looking trolls, asexual, feminine trolls like us that we've had to live our entire lives under this sort of scrutiny, that we're not measuring up to what the most masculine guys are. And look, we were called every single slur you could imagine along the way. And it's like, good luck holding some shred of integrity and self-esteem through your childhood with what you had to the gauntlet you had to run. The thing is, every single impulse this guy Peters has is injurious. It's self-injurious. It's antisocial. And the thing is, I knew from an early age, exactly what kind of shitty douchebag I wanted to be. And it did not resemble his form of being a jerk, And I think that there's something about this. I have the same feeling looking at him now. I mean, now I just have a little more separation from being able to insult me, for, feeling bad. But the reality is, it's like he is just the example of every other Chad. We didn't call them Chads back in 1988, but it's like these people who leveraged the fact that they had squarer jaws and that they were dating at the age of 12 or something like that. And they would, call you a virgin, and they would call you the F word with the two G's in the middle, that particular F word. It's like, how is that supposed to be appealing to me? I mean, this is I've spent my entire life running in the other direction from douchebags like this guy.
Yeah, but at the beginning, I don't know. I guess maybe we were different because
a little bit.
I look back on who I was in 1988, and I have never been, like I said before, I have never been more glad to have been born when I was born, even though getting older is not fun for me. I was desperate for some way to gain status. I had no power as a kid. None. I feel. And I really was always looking for that magic formula to give me status in the form of masculinity. I was very insecure about my looks, my physicality, my masculinity. There were incidents where I thought status was just, you know, a suntan away, just a cool t-shirt away, just one little thing that I would come to school and be a new person, someone who not just girls would like, because I was always interested in girls. I can never remember a time where I didn't want a girlfriend. And I just, you know, I wanted to be looked up to. I wanted to be clever. I wanted to be funny. I wanted to be admired. I wanted to be talented. There was no avenue for my talents when I was a young man, other than being good at school, being good in class. But like, who gives a shit? That was uncool, right? If Clavicular had presented himself to me when I was that person, I absolutely, I don't know how far I would have gotten with bone smashing or whatever, but I would have thought he had the answer. I've never been happier to, you know, be who I am. Again, the Playboy article, this is really interesting. A quote here. I agree with this. I confess I find some sympathy for him here. We're all on the same spectrum as Clavicular. He simply decided to place himself at its furthest edge. He's far from the first person to believe there are rewards on the other side of extreme behavior. Social media is a hierarchy of attention. You will always know where you stand within it. There are KPIs. Given all the attention he's getting, he's not totally off the mark. So I would have seen Clavicular, and I would have seen my way out of the status masculinity power trap I was in.
Your way up.
So
exactly.
My way up, my way to ascend.
It has now emerged that Clavicular has incredibly close ties and has gone into business with a man who is very close with Israeli organized crime, and is sort of seen as, according to an indictment dropped last year, as arguably the most fearsome Israeli organized crime associate in the United States.
Noah, do you find this to be a sign of the apocalypse?
Oh, yes. I mean, we are running headlong into shallowness, into, I mean, you talk about how he's killing himself, and I mean, I would not be surprised if you read tomorrow that Clavicular died, but putting aside just the damage people are doing to themselves physically, let alone emotionally. Will Gottsagen in The Atlantic wrote the following. But the bigger concern is not that he is encouraging a generation of young men to take extreme measures to change their looks. It's that because his antics are so ridiculous and his videos so entertaining to a certain crowd, he has allowed more coherent and dangerous ideologies to hitch a ride on his movement. There you go. He's hanging out with Nick Fuentes. He's hanging out with Andrew Tate. He is supporting their theories that all that matters is the toxic elements of masculinity, is the surface elements of masculinity, is the masculinity people see in people like, you know, the felon in the White House. Hurt people. And this is a recipe for misery and doom. If people like Clavicular get more influence, we'll see more Trumps. We'll see more Pete Hegseths. We'll see more insecure bullies waving their dicks around indiscriminately in a desperate need to gain approval from a world that they feel doesn't notice or appreciate them enough. If nothing better fills the gap for these desperate boys, these normal boys, these normal children, someone like Clavicular will fill that gap and point them in not only the wrong direction for themselves, but the wrong direction for the world.
I don't know if you had this experience, but there were guys in my high school who injected anabolics one summer.
I don't know of that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was over a summer. I can't. Maybe it was 91 into 92 is what I'm thinking of. So you know, this guy Steve, that's his real name.
Of course, his name was Steve.
Not a friend.
All those guys are named Steve.
Not a friend of mine, but a guy I was in class with.
Right.
So, like, he went away one school year, and he came back the next school year, looking very different. Right? It was like it wasn't just puberty at that point. It's like he went for the needle. Right? So he came in jacked.
Was he an athlete?
No, he just was he was like a douchebag. He was like I don't want to say a burnout because he didn't smoke.
Just a regular douchebag, not an athlete.
He was a dumb fucker. And the thing is I did not know this until this class, until I started. He's in this criminal justice elective with me, and he used to pass gas in class because apparently one of the side effects of steroids is that it absolutely destroys your alimentary canal. At least in this
I didn't
case,
know that.
Yeah, and so the thing is, it's like
I knew it shrank your balls and give you acne. I didn't know that it made you fart.
He would laugh so like he would uproariously laugh every time this happened. So it's like, in addition to being dumb, he was jacked over the summer and he had like terrible public hygiene. I'm like, all right, Steve has lost the thread here. And I can't believe that I'm peers with him in something. Anyway.
Wait, what happened to Steve? Have you Googled?
Oh, I don't know. No, I have no idea what happened to him. But
see, I want to know. Does he? I mean, you could tell me off mic, but does he have an uncommon enough name that you think we could find him?
Yeah, it could be, I guess. But here's the thing. The point of all this was to say that he was convinced that no one had any idea that he cheated with a needle. He thought he was getting away with it. He thought.
So how did people know? It was just. I mean, the rumor went around school, right?
Yes, exactly. Steve. Right. He obviously told his buddy, but it's like he thought that he presented this thing. It's like, man, like he in fact did buy the T-shirt, like you said. He thought he did the one thing. It's like. It's like, Steve, it's not a T-shirt. This isn't Umbro shorts like the one year I bought Umbro shorts in 1990. It's like this was him going through the trouble of injecting anabolic steroids. So it's like the process and the evidence kind of is the point to show how many peptides you can inject on the way to perfection. And yeah, I guess the apocalypse part of it is like how, picking up what you said, how do you program this out of young men's boys, not young men, boys' brains? Look,
men too. I mean,
yeah, men too. It's like
they're vulnerable too. I'm still dealing with this issue, and I'm not a young man anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there's people have gymorexia where they, they're just sort of addicted to working out all the time and all that shit. Yep. That's a little older. People in a certain income bracket. I'm sure there's a lot of pictures on Hinge. And the dating sites of guys in the guy, if they're not picking up fish, the sort of like fish picture, then they do gym pictures, them sort of like, putting plates on, a squat.
Or shirtless, taking a photo of themselves in the mirror.
Right, exactly.
That's it. But those are common women photos too. They're not shirtless, but they take a photo of themselves in the mirror.
Yeah. And, that's the thing to bring it back around too. It's like, women have been cosmetically altering their bodies for far longer in far more grave ways.
I'm not saying that isn't a problem.
I know.
I'm just saying this is an example of the problem getting worse.
Yeah, no, I'm bringing it up. It's like, well, if the damage that was, used to be the purview mostly of women and young girls, the eating disorders and things, disordered eating, and the carrying the abuse in certain ways into your body. It's like, oh well, at least we have parity amongst young boys now, where it's like they can fuck themselves up.
Yeah, but the problem is, and this is why I mentioned Trump and Hegseth, is that women, and this is totally a generalization, take the bad effect of that, they internalize, right? Like it's damage to themselves. How do men express that insecurity? Yes, on themselves, clearly here, but like the men wave their dicks around and, as we're seeing now, bomb places, right? I'm serious. I see a straight line from clavicular to the current U.S. method of waging war.
Right now at 11, we begin with breaking news. Controversial influencer Clavicular has been rushed to a hospital in Miami after having a suspected overdose. The incident happening during one of his live streams at a spot in Brickell.
Bill, is there any way you are jealous of Braden Eric Peters, born 2005? Jesus, he was born 2005.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think what I was doing in that fall.
2005. No, it was the year that Transformers the movie takes place in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the original with Orson Welles.
Yeah.
Oh wow. It was the summer I saw Batman Begins. I remember that.
Yeah.
So he was born after Batman Begins at the theater. That makes
I was already married. That was the year I got married. September.
That's right. I went to your wedding in 2005. Wait, when was it? June?
No, September.
Was it June wedding?
September.
Okay.
Yeah, my birthday's in June.
Remember that wedding well.
Yeah,
getting blisters on my feet with my new dress shoes.
That's how. And you couldn't. Good luck stopping Noah from dancing because you just.
I know. I bought Band-Aids. You know what I loved about your wedding? I walked to your wedding from my apartment.
That's true. Yeah, I walked to my wedding.
I went through a period Right. Around that time, I went to your wedding. I went to 2 weddings in Times Square. I took the subway. And I said, that's it. From now on, I'm only walking or taking public transit to weddings. I will never get on a plane because the year before,
weddings.
right, the year before, I had to fly to Austin, Texas twice from New York to go to a wedding. So I said, from now on, I'm not leaving New York City for a wedding. And I think I broke that rule a year later. Anyway, yeah, he was born in 2005. Is there any way you were jealous of this guy and this phenomenon in the looksmaxxing world?
This is where, you get to Frank Gorshin's onesie filled with question marks that just sort of like ask this idea of like, what are we dealing with here? What is the riddle of steel? Look, I don't know how a misguided kid from what I would say is definitely a well-to-do part of Jersey, right? Handsome.
I don't think his family was poor. No,
right. Handsome plenty to start with, right? It's like he already had the common clay.
He looked I saw a photo of him he looked average, but he wasn't bad looking at all. Yeah.
So, he goes so far astray into this fucking weird lane. It's like, I'm not jealous of his manias. I'm not jealous of his abnormal drives. The company he keeps among like really charged, reprehensible douchebags.
Can you imagine talking to those people?
Well, I don't think
putting aside that they're hate mongers.
They're not listening. They're talking at each other. They're not talking to people. They're just speaking at each other. It's like ultimately, how can you be jealous of someone you're watching? Like whatever it is that impels him to poison his body. It's like saying, are you jealous of Nicolas Cage's character in Leaving Las Vegas? Watching him drink so much he literally can't eat food by the end of the movie, and he just dies in a hotel room. Like that's just what we're left with. What a good thing he's got going on there.
The only thing, again, I'm anti-jealous, but the only thing I'm jealous of Clavicular himself on is, well, I'm jealous that he's mastered the algorithm. He understands people in the world and how to get attention in a way that I've never mastered. And, if I'd mastered that, I think my business would be much farther along, but that's show business. Also, I'll say it again. I think no matter how good you are at this thing, every viral star has essentially won the lottery. There's probably some looksmaxxer out there who is just as algorithmically, savantish, who just wasn't right place, right time. But I don't know, man. I'm 50 years old. I'm single. I've always had some issues with my looks. I have some issues with how I'm aging. I do wish I were better looking, right? I've been saying for a few years now, my looks have no effect on my life because I'm in the 80% of people who are not horribly ugly and not incredibly beautiful. But, if I were in the 10% that's incredibly beautiful, I do think my life would be easier.
Your clavicles definitely are jacked up. I will tell you. You could.
My clavicle's not bad. I've been going to the gym a lot. Last few years, I became a gym habitué, and my clavicle is looking all right. It might be the most improved part of my body.
That's it. You're just doing it's clavicle day. Tuesdays are clavicle day.
You'll work the right clavicle on Mondays and the left clavicle on Tuesdays.
That's it, man. Yeah. Anyway, so what about the scale, Noah? Where would you put this on our XYZ array?
Remember James Charles?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
He was a makeup guy or something.
He's a makeup guy. So he is another male influencer obsessed with looks, but in a different direction. Feminine is oversimplifying it. Certainly from the point of view of someone like Clavicular, James Charles is feminine, but obviously it's more nuanced than that. But I think it is just as much encouraging shallowness, encouraging, what's the word I'm looking for? Surface level. Why can't I remember this word?
Superficiality.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very much encouraging superficiality. And he also seemed like a toxic person, a person who was unbothered by his bad behavior. So I start with James Charles. I multiply it by half of Greg Gutfeld. World where it's all where right-wing orthodoxy, it's all a joke, and left-wingers are crazy, so all you do is mock them. And I add another half to push it more into the world of toxic masculinity, the half of Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather fight. And then I add 72.148. And that gets you to a really high position on the I don't get to the pop culture, get off my long cast XYZ axis, where you will find this horrible, loathsome, disgusting, making me woefully sad phenomenon of Clavicular.
We really have mined a lot of trash in this garbage quarry, haven't we? I mean, we just
welcome to pop culture.
We
in the
just
21st century.
We're sending pickaxes and bore machines deeper and deeper into the lode of the earth, trying to find that vein, and we really
it's not hard to find, dude. We don't got to dig too hard.
I know. I just feel that's the funny thing. You cross sectioning all these things, coming up with this comp. It's like I was thinking. It's like, well. I don't know. Maybe I wrote this and I didn't mean it. It's like, well, he's only hurting himself. And it's like, no, I think he's actually kind of hurt other people to some degree.
I strongly disagree with that idea. Man.
And not only that, well, at the very least, he's also injured dead alligators. That's a problem, too.
At first I'm like, that's mean. And I'm like, oh, the alligator was already dead? Like, okay. Shouldn't have fired a gun, whatever. But like, I wasn't that upset. Running over the guy with the Cybertruck was worse.
That's a tough one. It's tough to come back from that. But I was reminded of the weird head case, Jordan Hudson. You remember her? Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
Oh, that was her name? Yeah.
Yeah, I had to look it up too, what it was. Because he's listed on our docket as Bill
Belichick girlfriend.
Yeah, not her name. We didn't even give her a name. And she
has no name.
Her name was spelled Jordon, which is not even the sort of book, the classical, received pronunciation spelling.
It's not the country in the Middle East, no.
Not the country, Jordan. Yeah. So, she took it upon herself to sort of weirdify an already peculiar old man. And there was just something kind of like, will I remember Clavicular as well as we didn't even remember her name so much as she had a station in life as Bill Belichick's girlfriend. So long as we know, Bill Belichick is still on the same girlfriend. So that title, that moniker still hangs around her neck. That's her thing to bear. And, I don't know. I'm sure that if we wanted to, we could make an entire discrete mini series of I Don't Get It's about these people who were in that nightclub Vendome. I'm sure you saw that. We didn't even talk about that, the thing where they were playing Heil Hitler in the Miami nightclub.
That's right. Him and I don't know if it was Fuentes, but guys like that were singing along to
Andrew
the
Tate,
Kanye
Fuentes.
West song.
They were all doing that. Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying it's like there's a mini series here, a very special report from I Don't Get It about the continuing things that I don't get.
For them, it's like I don't even think they might. I mean, whatever. It's a distinction without a difference, but like. I don't even think of these guys as primarily white supremacists. I think they're just saying, what's going to piss off people the most? That's what I'm going to do because everything's a joke.
Yes. No, that's true. I mean, and that's exactly what, that's kind of what Kanye West did when he wrote the song in the first place. I mean,
I think Kanye West is just crazy.
He was crazy, but also he thought this was provocative too. And so his job was to be provocative. Well, no, I think that's it. I think we said everything there is to say about this douchebag. So,
no, we haven't, unfortunately. I do not. I think this guy, we will hear about him again. This is all or clavicular, or mega clavicular. The worst clavicular.
That's what Godzilla fights is mecha clavicular.
Clavicular versus mecha clavicular.
Look, if you guys want to find past episodes of the show, look on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Soundcloud, and Google Play. Skeet to us at noahandbillshow.bsky.social. That's right. I'll get it right. Write to us at noahandbilldon'tgetit@gmail.com. Give us a review on the dead aggregators that don't shoot it to them. Just give reviews on them. At billscurry.bsky.social, at William Scurry. One combination or the other will find me on social media if you're inclined to find me. YouTube.com/AMCs is where you can find this podcast in its video form, as well as all the other work I do and have done. Noah is also attainable and achievable too. Noah Maxing. He's going to
go to Big Quiz. Yes, I'm entertainment maxing at bigquizthing.com. The Big Quiz Thing. Yeah. Trivia mogging. Yeah. The finest source for custom and private trivia nationwide, worldwide.
Trivia smashing.
In-person virtual. Yeah. I mentioned this last week. Our summer is our law firm season. We do a lot of events for law firms. So we got a lot of those coming up. Very excited for that. Any other highlights to speak of? Our new promo video, we're finally promoting it, Bill.
Yeah.
Thanks to you. It's we social media'd it this week. And it's keeping me busy. So learn about the finest in trivia entertainment. And you can find me personally on Instagram at the Noah Tarnow.
All right, everybody. So until the next episode where we talk about our new self-help cult of improving the body under the name Scapulator, we don't get it.
A production of American Caesar Enterprises 2026.